Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. You say I'm spending my money on other women, you're taking money from someone else. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Before You Accuse Me, the Eric Clapton version from Unplugged. So I'm going to take you through a few different ways of playing this song. We're going to start off with kind of a pretty easy version, just using a chunka 12-bar blues in E and using a B7 open chord. So any of you guys doing my beginner's course, you'll be able to play the song right away. I'm going to talk a little bit about the way Clapton embellishes it a bit, but mainly just learning a straight ahead 12-bar blues in the key of E I think is a really good idea. Then I'm going to take you through the Eric Clapton intro, make sure that we have a look at the technique of using the thumb on the bass notes and the first couple of fingers doing these little up strums, and I'll talk a little bit about adding some fills into it as well. There's a little bit too much going on to take you through the whole song. We definitely need some sort of tab arrangement going on before I attempt to do that one for this song, because it's there's a lot of fills and a lot of licks, and it would take a long time to explain. So let's get to a close-up and look at how to play a basic version first of all. So let's start off by looking at a chunka blues in E to start off with. So let me just play it once through exactly what I'm going to show you here first. So we're starting on the E. 3, 4. Before you accuse me, over to A. Take a look at yourself. 2 bars of E, then over to A. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Back to E. Well, you say I'm B7ing my money on other A chords. You're taking money from someone. E, 2, 3, 4, B7. Okay, so those of you that are not familiar with doing this chunka thing, there's a big lesson on as part of my beginner's course on my website. So I'll give you a quick rundown, but if you want a bit more detail on how to do that, then you want to go and check out the 12-bar blues lesson as part of the beginner's course. So we'd starting off with the first finger and the second fret of the 5th string. We're playing the thickest string as well. So the 6th string and the 5th string. We're playing both those strings, okay? We play that twice. Then we're putting the 3rd finger down on the 5th string in the 4th fret. We play that twice, and it repeats that. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that would be the pattern. You definitely want to make sure you learn that, this pattern first of all. I teach it in A on the website, which is why I'm bothering to go through an E one here. So the actual pattern is E for 1 bar. Then we move over to the A, so everything just moves down a string. We start with just the first finger. 2 and 3 and 4, and back to E. 2 and 3 and 4, and another bar of E. Then back to the A for 2 bars. 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, and back to E. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to a B7 chord. Now it's very common in an E blues in kind of traditional styles to go to a B7 if you're playing an E, because to continue the chunka, it's very possible, and a lot of people still do it that way. So first finger in the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger in the 4th fret of the 4th string, and little finger would have to stretch up to the 6th fret. If you're a beginner, you're going to find that one a pretty massive stretch. So a lot of people just strumming a B7, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then to the A, and back to E, 2, 3, 4, to B7. Okay, so let's work one more time through that whole chord sequence. Make sure that you get the rhythm right. 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, to A, 2, 3, 4, to E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, over to A, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and back to E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to B7, 2, 3, 4, to A, 2, 3, 4, to E, 2, 3, 4, to B7. 3, 4, and then the cycle starts around again back on the E chord. So any of you that watch the Eric Clapton unplugged version of this song, you're going to see that he's using his thumb a lot for all of that rhythm. All down picks, and definitely something that I would recommend that you have a good go at, you know. You might end up with a little bit of a blister on your thumb, and some money for nothing if you're lucky. But you can see it's a really, really good technique. It's quite authentic of that kind of early blues style. Strumming for the B, then to A. Just all down picks. I'm using a little bit of palm mute there. So the outside part of my palm, if I took it off, you can hear it just brightens it up. Putting it down again, it's just that tiny little bit of palm mute there really makes quite a big difference. The reason that we're just using the thumb like that, and I should actually point out that it appears from watching the video that Eric Clapton's using a thumb pick for this song, which is a special pick that wraps around your thumb. So it actually sounds like he's playing with a plectrum, but it's quite clearly a thumb pick. So one of the cool things about keeping the rhythm there with the thumb is that it frees the fingers up to be able to play other rhythms and lead lines and stuff. So you can do like this Clapton thing where he's doing up strums. We're going to talk about this a bit more in a second. But okay, so we've got the thumb playing the bass note and some fingers doing little up strums on the chords. You can also do lead lines. So you can keep the thumb moving, doing a consistent thing while you play lead lines. In this style, most of the time, the thumb's a little bit less consistent than that. It kind of, you'll play a bit of lead line, and then a bit of bass. It kind of mixes up a little bit. It's not quite as consistent as having the thumb going on every beat or anything like that. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Okay, so that's the Eric Clapton part from the very intro. So we're starting off with this. It's a little E7 chord. Those of you that know a D7, like that, maybe you learned it that way. So using different fingers, and then up one fret would be E flat 7, up another one would be an E7. So we don't need that first finger for now. We're just going to be playing the bass note with our thumb, and then we're going to be doing a little up strum with the first finger, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a second, but that's the chord. So starting on the 3rd string, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. Then it moves down one fret, down another fret, and now we've got this little lead line. Okay, so we're playing the bass note at the same time as well, but again, we're going to look at that other hand in a second. We're starting off with a little trill with the first finger, okay, between the open string and the 1st fret on the 3rd string, then open E string. We've got this 3rd fret on the thinner string, open, 3rd, open. Sounds a little bit to me like, what I think's actually the notes being hit. He might have another finger sitting there for that first note. It's difficult to tell because there's a second guitar part there as well. Okay, 2nd string on the 2nd fret on the 2nd string, 3rd fret on the thinner string, open E string, 3rd fret on the thinner string again, then either just the E string or those two notes depending on what you want to play. Then there's a 3rd fret tone bend on the 2nd string, then that's the open E string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, open, 1st fret, and then we're going to strum the thinnest two strings. Okay, that's the line. Okay, but it's allowed to be a little bit sloppy. Okay, just practice it real slow. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Okay, the rhythm of that last little part. A little bit weird, it's not exactly a triplet. You could probably be worth practicing it as a triplet actually. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Okay, it is a little later on the record, that little last hammer on, but you know, whatever, it's a blues, you can feel free to experiment a bit yourself as well. Okay, and I'm playing the bass note, the low E, at the same time with my thumb, on beat 1, and then on beat 2, and then on beat 3, and beat 4. Now I can't tell if Eric Clapton's doing that on the original recording. It could be that he just goes, and he's just playing the lead line. I like trying to put that bass note in as well. Okay, and we finish after we've played the thickest string and the thinnest 2 strings with an upstroke, which you're going to see in a second. We play the bass note, which is now our B7. We play that, then we're going to play this open B string, that's the 2nd string, and this 2nd fret of the 3rd string together twice. Then you can hear Clapton go, which is this little open B string, 3rd string, and then he plays the bass note and the 3rd string again. But I mean, we're getting pretty fussy now. Is the exact line, but you know, that's the fingering for it. Let's have a look at the strumming hand now. So this style is all about playing the bass note with the thumb and the chord with the fingers. Now I've always done it with the thumb and the 1st finger doing the chord movement. Not sure why, but I'm doing little upstrums with my 1st finger while I'm playing the bass note with the thumb. But having just watched the Eric Clapton Unplugged video to make sure that I was doing it the right way and going to show you guys the right way, he seems to be using his 2nd finger. His 1st finger doesn't seem to be doing much at all. Now, I find it a lot easier to use my 1st finger. I find the 2nd finger thing really uncomfortable. Now, it would be up to you to experiment. I think the advantage of maybe not using your 1st finger is that you could actually do it with a pick, if you wanted to. I haven't got a pick in my hand there, but in theory, I guess it's possible. For me, it just feels a lot easier to be using my 1st finger. Really, give it a try. See if you want to use your 1st finger or your 2nd finger, or a combination of the 2. Don't think it really matters. So, with that 1st chord, we've got this rhythm. 1 triplet, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the chord is happening on 1 triplet, 2 and. Then we've got the bass doing 3 and 4 and. And on 4 and we've got the fingers doing that chord. 1 triplet, 2 and bass, bass 4 and. Okay, it's definitely worth getting that right first. Okay, bass is doing 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fingers are going 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 triplet, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, then we move that chord shape down 1 fret. Okay, and we've got the bass and the chord together. 1 and. Now we've got this little triplet where it goes bass, fingers, bass. Okay, and I think the finger is coming upwards from the 2nd string if we're going to be fussy about it. Okay, so bass note, chord from the 2nd string, and then bass note again. 1 and 2 triplet. 1 and 2 triplet. Chord goes down again. 3 and. So chord and bass note together, then another chord, then just the bass note. Okay, that whole first 2 bars. 1 triplet, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 triplet, 3 and 4. Now we've got the next part. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 and 1. Okay, so here again we've got the thumb just on the beat each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the melody. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 3, triplet, 4, triplet, 1. Again, 1 and 2, triplet, 3, triplet, 4 and 1. Okay, and the very last bar of the intro, the first one is that, of course, the bass note playing thicker string, first finger doing a little up strum on the thinnest 2 strings. We put down our B7 chord, and we're going to play the 5th string, then the chord with the bass note with the up strum from the 2nd string. So then we've got this little 2nd string, 3rd string, and then the bass note. It's a little bit uncomfortable there. It doesn't kind of sit nicely, but with the other guitar part it sounds great. I think I'm adding an extra bass note there on beat 3 as well. 1 and 2 and 3, triplet, 4. So that beat on beat 3, I don't think that's actually on the record. I'm doing it just to make it sound a little bit more complete. You can choose whether to leave it on or not. So 1 and 2 and 3, triplet, 4 would be the proper one. But I'm just putting an extra bass note on beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3, triplet, 4. Okay, so this idea of the chord and then bringing in some okay, you can see the thumb is just doing its thing on the bass note, and when you want to break into a bit of lead, you can get a little bit of finger style action going, and then back into a bit more strumming. You can do a bit together. But it's really up to you how you want to experiment with that. A really good thing to practice is just doing it real straight. So, oh, you accuse me. Hey, take a look at yourself. Back to the chords, the 2 bars. And then back to the lead. B, A, 2, 3, back to 2 bars of lead. When we get into the rest of the song, it's really a mixture of just having that rhythm and occasionally using the fingers for a little accent. So that very first chorus that Eric's playing is E, 2, 3, 4. There's a little first finger brushing up, getting onto the A chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. There's a little riff there where he's doing like a little E sus, the little hammer on, and then the open strings. Back to the A. He's just doing a little riff like that on the A. Then there's a proper lead. Okay, so that's the actual riff that he's playing. E, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, triplet, 3, triplet, 4. Okay, 1. First fret of the 3rd string, open E, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, open, on the thinner string that is, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, open with the 1st fret hammer on with the 1st finger, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then the 2nd bar, 1, and 2, triplet, 3, triplet, 4. 1, and that's the thinnest 2 strings, 3 triplet, which is 3rd fret, 2nd fret open on the 2nd string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, open B string, 1st fret on the 3rd string, followed by another couple of open strings. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. Okay, you can really experiment with what you're doing there, what fill, but that's the particular one that he's doing in that spot. The B7, you're other women, hey, you taking money from someone else. Okay, that would be the last fill. I think that's the turnaround. Again, it's difficult to tell because of the 2 guitars, but just 4th fret on the thinnest string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Open, that again, open, 3rd fret on its own, open, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, open, 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then the thinnest 2 strings before going to the B7. You know, but it's all about experimenting. This is a blues, so learn your basic fills, and then see if you can put in your own little licks there. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then to the A for a couple of bars while there's a bit of singing, and then back into some fill. So there we have the intro and the first verse of the proper Eric Clapton one, and a simplified one for any beginners that just want to be able to play the tune around the campfire or whatever. If you want to learn the whole song properly, you already know it's in E, you know the technique, you're able to see the video of him playing it on the live unplugged video, which is, you know, a great DVD that you should be checking out all of anyway. So have a go at working it out. Have a go at transcribing it. You know, if you get really stuck, look up some tabs and see if you can get some help with the parts that you struggle with. But otherwise, see how much of it you can pick up by ear. You can bet that's how Eric Clapton learned to do it. He wasn't using tabs on the internet or video lessons. He was listening to old Robert Johnson records and trying to figure out how to do it himself, you know. So you've got a big step up here by watching this video with clues about what techniques are involved with doing it and how it might be done. So I really strongly suggest you have a go at doing the proper traditional old school blues approach of using your ears, and hope you have a lot of fun with it, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.